This is going to be a massive day for the unemployed. It turns out yesterday, Nintendo had their partner Direct, and the only thing I can say is, oops, all key cards. Yeah, look, this company has done everything they possibly can to ruin and make it as difficult as possible to even want to go buy this console, want to go purchase a game on this console, and even then try to create some sort of collection for this console. The fact that they've gone through and their backwards compatibility isn't even backwards compatible, and on top of that, them going around and bricking everyone's consoles if they don't like what's happening on their system. Whether or not they don't like the rock that you make in Donkey Kong, yeah, that's just some that happened there too. Or if they don't like your actual screen name of Twink Link, which really is hilarious. The biggest issue I have with Nintendo right now, though, is their game key cards and the fact that this fiasco is continuing to occur. I, in fact, do have a Nintendo Switch OLED. I refuse to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 until Nintendo, in fact, fixes a lot of the issues occurring with this specific console. This was supposed to be the easiest slam dunk for Nintendo across the board, yet for some reason, they've done everything they possibly can to create as much friction as they possibly can for you, the consumer, at every point of entry, and even for actual publishers. And yesterday's partner showcase exacerbates that could be a real possibility, because Nintendo is no longer about trying to offer you good games at a great price. Nintendo is now trying to control everything from soup to nuts the entire way across the board, whether or not they're controlling your actual console remotely and bricking it from the internet, or they're now controlling the publisher and giving them less choice, which also gives you less choice as well on what games you can actually physically own. And I know the excuse that'll come up from many a Nintendo fanboy, the basic Disney adult of the video game space. Oh, well, if you have a game key card, then you can sell the key card and you can trade the digital game with your friends. Therefore, it'll be, just as good. It's not just as good, because if you're going to give me a physical game key card, why don't you put the game on the physical card? That's what I'm talking about here. If I wanted to buy a digital good, I would have purchased a digital good. Any consumer that wants to buy a physical good, then give them the actual physical good. Trying to make a false equivalency or a fake excuse saying that you can trade in digital game key cards and give them to your friends or trade them back into GameStop to buy other games really isn't the answer people are looking for. People want to physically own these games. And the Switch One was able to give you a large amount of their games physically on the Switch cart. Instead, we're getting everything that is the opposite of that. You're getting a fake key card, which makes you download the online version instead. Basically just giving you a physical DRM check for a digital product. The thing that you're not supposed to be dealing with when you've already legally purchased the game in the first place. Why should I have a DRM check when I've already bought the game? All they're doing is Pavlov dogging you into going around and putting the cart into the system, when in reality, you could have just bought the game from the eShop in the first place. But the funny thing is, I'm not the only one that noticed this as well. In fact, Wario64 the other day before the Direct tweeted this out. Oops, all game key cards. Nintendo partner Direct confirmed for July 31st at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for 25 minutes of info on upcoming Switch 2 and Switch games from publishing partners. And he's absolutely right, because the majority of those games shown were in fact to only be part of game key cards specifically for purchase or a digital version. And to make matters even worse, there were in fact games on the Switch 1 that had the full-on physical version, but then no upgrade path for the Switch 2 version, even though the Switch 1 version was completely done physically on the cart and not a digital game key card. Friend of the channel RGT85 in fact said this: I honestly don't get why people thought game key cards were magically going to go away. They aren't. It's either that or digital. A few games will be on the cart from third-party companies, but this is the future of Nintendo Switch 2 games. I tried to warn you, you didn't listen. And even he realized what exactly is happening. Games are going to be all digital, and this game keycard is merely a bridge to make you more comfortable with actual digital ownership. The biggest problem, though, is that Nintendo is completely archaic when it comes to ownership in general. Look at every single time an eShop closes down for that company, or they shut everything down. They've purposely gone around and have shut down previous stores of previous consoles, offering you no way of either transferring those purchases over to the next system, or in that case, giving you no access to purchase new games on that system directly. That's one. We're talking about the 3DS, we're talking about the Wii Shop, we're talking about everything moving forward. And you can see that happen more and more often, how Nintendo likes to restrict everything, acting like Disney, because they feel they control the actual product even after you've already purchased it and given them the money. In fact, here is N Super Gamer Guy saying this: "We need to game key cards. I'm so sick of bro. Just release an actual physical copy of a game. No more of this fake physical copy garbage." And the funnier part about it, this person has me blocked because clearly I'm nothing more than a Nintendo hate grifting YouTube channel. That's what I've been focusing on, right? /S. That's sarcasm. I hope you guys caught up on that. That's really what it is. And it really is finally enlightening to see, because not only has Nintendo now caused the increase of games in this generation to $80, they're also giving you less opportunity and less reasons to buy the actual product. Other companies have done this as well. Microsoft has done this with Doom: The Dark Ages, where they just gave a blank coaster of a disc with 82 megs of data on there to download the game onto your console instead. The actual lack of ownership in this industry is getting worse and worse by the moment, and people walking around sucking off this corporation because they like Nintendo or it makes them feel happy is the real problem with all of this. When you give them an inch, they always seem to take a mile. In fact, others have noticed this as well. Gene Park tweeted this: "This kills a lot of my excitement for third-party games on Nintendo. I love collecting Nintendo games on cartridge more than any other platform, but I care more about preserving on physical." And Gene is absolutely right. People really do enjoy collecting their games physically on the Nintendo Switch. In fact, it's one of the biggest reasons that people like it, because since it's a portable device, it requires the publisher and developer to put the entire game, or as much as possible, onto that physical cartridge, which means you have direct ownership of that game. I've done this multiple times and I'm going to show it again. Here is just a small part of my PlayStation 2 collection. I've gone back to buy old physical games, even though I can clearly emulate them. I in fact have my PS2 sitting right here next to my PC, and I still use it because I like to put the disc into the tray, and I like the thing to go when I'm playing the fucking thing. And having it there and being able to play the game physically makes me feel like a kid again. Midlife crisis be damned. But it's still not easy. I do have a small collection of Switch 1 games, which gives me the full game on the cart, but I'm also still collecting old N64 games because they're good. I can emulate them and that's fine, but they're still difficult to find. And many of them are actually getting out of print. And the only thing that I can find is like old Chinese knockoffs. And on top of that, even physical Switch games are starting to become difficult to find because they're limited in print, even from the Switch 1. So what, like 8 years ago at the most right now? That's getting really scary because now publishers and developers don't want to chalk up the extra money to simply say, here is a physical game key card, just print those things out and sell them. Now they're trying to control the process from beginning to end. This is in fact giving Nintendo more money on the back end because now they get more money from the actual developer or publisher by buying the most expensive game key card every single time. And then on top of that, if they choose to go digital or get the game key card as well, they don't have to worry about logistics, shipping, manufacturing, publishing, or what have you, and still have full control over the product that you purchase. And then they still increase the price. So you get less product, you get less everything, you don't own the actual game you buy, and then they still get control and they make more money. It's literally a racket. And to make matters worse, this kind of control is exactly what's going to cause the stagnation and lack of preservation in the gaming industry simply by allowing these things to happen. But the more ridiculous part of all of this is that people criticizing Nintendo, like myself and other YouTubers, are now being called hate grifters because of it. Here's MacFan210 on Twitter saying this: "Seems seems criticizing Nintendo blindly is a gold mine for small YouTube channels right now. As I've been saying, the internet is trapped in a negative feedback loop, and I believe the algorithms are to blame. First of all, having the name Alex and not criticizing this company is a damn shame. You should feel shame for you having that name in the first place and not having critical thinking. That's number one. Number two, the problem is people aren't blindly hating Nintendo. They are pointing out the issues and occurrences that are impacting the gaming industry as a whole that Nintendo is perpetuating and is being led on by people like you. If Nintendo didn't raise the price to $80, if they didn't break your system remotely by not giving you internet access, if they didn't like specific things, or if they gave publishers different types of cards to use from instead of just digital game key card and physical key card, then we really wouldn't have a problem, now would we? I even said before, the console itself at $450 sits right in between what the Steam Deck LCD and OLED are, so it kind of makes sense in that space. But these other factors and issues where Nintendo is trying to exert full control over the device you purchase is the real criticism, and you seeing it as blind hate is the real problem. That's why they keep doing it. They keep walking all over you as a customer and consumer, and people calling it out is not blind hate or grifting. It is direct criticism of this company who should be facing that criticism in the first place. I mean, here's the Nintendo goof saying this: criticizing Nintendo is free clicks. There's something about an entity that doesn't fall into line and subverts expectations that triggers people to no end. Nintendo has been doing their own thing contrary to every other company. They've hated journos and e-celebs alike who tell people things like Nintendo is bad because they want to make more money, or Nintendo doesn't let me use their IP to make a fan game slop. Yet ignore the positive things like Nintendo's 90+ retention rate of its staff and its CEO taking a pay cut so employees would get paid. First of all, you clown, I love the fact that you've already blocked me because clearly you're literally upset that I've called out the company that you suckle off on. Number two, invoking Iwata, the actual CEO that did that, who passed away, as if they're doing that kind of thing now, is an absolute ridiculous, moronic, idiotic, clown-ass take you could possibly do. And talking about, oh, their retention rate is 90%, sure, that may be fine, but the thing is, the games that they're making and what they're doing, it doesn't excuse their behavior right now in their behavior and what's happening in the gaming space. They could do all the great things in the world. They can pet all the puppies, they can plant all the trees, they can pull plastic out of the ocean and watch them do it, but Doug Bowser is gonna Doug Bowser apparently, and your dumbass is gonna be happy to pay $80 and twist yourself into a logical pretzel trying to figure out any way to give this company money instead of actually being critical of them. Oh, you guys get free clicks. Boy, I wonder, there's a ton of people who would be happy to buy this console right now, such as myself, if Nintendo didn't do the most scummy, idiotic, terrible business practices that they've actually done. I would have had that system already. I would have been like, all right, cool, whatever, bro. And I would have bought all the games. But instead, they went ahead and decided to go ahead and screw you as a customer. And instead of saying to yourself, man, I have consumer rights, I should be able to defend myself against a corporation who's trying to control every aspect of the money I give them and the product they gave me. I wonder what I should do. Lie down like a fucking dog and just let them walk all over you? And the simping for this company continues. Here is Obi-Wan Plays saying this: be prepared for tomorrow for a lot of Nintendo fans to cry about these third-party games not being full on cartridge, even though a lot of these games gonna have over 64 gigabytes. Y'all would rather no third-party support at all. Support the third-party games that interest you, even if it's buying digital from the eShop. You still playing the same game, better than no game at all. Who's to say Nintendo just couldn't make a cartridge that has a bigger save size than 64 gigs? It's a very simple thing to do. Hell, my SD card is 512 gigs. You can't see it, but this right here is half a terabyte of actual save data. Way more than 64 gigs. Double what you've got in your Nintendo Switch 2. And I've got that sumbitch right here, 512 gigs available at any moment in time, and I could simply just have that directly in my system at any point that I want on my Steam Deck. But yeah, you're here talking about, guys, games are 64 gigs. What are they gonna do? I don't know, subsidize the cost, create an actual game key card size that's big enough for those games, or developers to finally actually, for once in their fucking lives, be able to compress the goddamn audio in their game because they love doing that in the first place, or maybe compress textures and not have a bloated file size in the first place on every other platform of gaming. would be super easy now, wouldn't it? But instead, clowns like this are more than happy to give a company money, letting them screw them consistently by not owing anything and pissing on their leg and telling them it's rain. Having this kind of behavior over time really is the more insane part of all of this. And watching Nintendo have a partner direct where the majority of those games are on game key cards shows that, number one, people are having a very difficult time trying to go ahead and accept game key cards in the first place because the expectation is they want to own it physically. And number two, this is going to backfire on Nintendo on a big way. And I feel like it's going to continue to happen because, like we saw before, there are publishers who are seeing lower than low expectations in their sales from the game key cards. Hell, we even saw people bring that up towards their shareholders in Nintendo, talking about why game key cards are becoming such an issue. And of course, Nintendo giving a direct non-answer. But of course, fanboys are going to do the exact same thing and swallow for this company whole. And it is an incredibly sad aspect, and Dave, because of this. This third-party partner showcase could have been a massive W for the system because a Switch 2 is exactly what people wanted from the successor of the first Switch, a more powerful handheld device and the ability to play more games. The problem, though, is all the roadblocks and friction being put in the way because of this console, and it's a massive issue. And no, I will not stop talking about it because I feel like proper game ownership is incredibly important, because right now on the Switch 2, you do not own your console physically because they can brick it from the internet at any given time. You do not own your games physically because they're only giving you game key cards from third-party publishers. And you don't even own your digital games because they can shut down that storefront at any moment in time that they want to when the next console iteration comes out, forcing you to buy it again. And I know one immediate response I'm gonna get: Alex, you're a PC gamer. You're all digital. Why are you crying about this in the first place? And that, dear friends, is because on the open platform known as PC gaming, I have the ability to, in fact, pirate video games and actually own my digital goods. This would have been a great reason to have NFTs, but of course the Monkey Bros had to screw this all up. The thing is, I do have direct ownership over my games, whether I purchase them through GOG or any other platform that are DRM free, or at the same time I just go ahead and sail the high seas. I'm going to go ahead and reiterate it again: piracy is in fact true ownership. So besides being a standard mid-direct, my biggest problem with all of this is the fact that Nintendo is not offering publishers and developers a key card option for physical games, and of course restricting what kind of options they have towards themselves to put the game on there, and for you, the customer, as well, giving you less option, giving you less choice, and less ownership over the money that you give this company in the first place. And that is my biggest problem of all. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section down below. Did you like the Direct? Did you not like the Direct? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and find out as well. If you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, my hot takes in the gaming industry like this, subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 89K, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. Now, if you want Discord access or most during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here live on the channel. I live stream for about 5 to 6 hours and get insulted with AITTS. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!